Welcome everybody. Today is August the 10th, 2026. Welcome to Central and Percy Fulton Monday meeting with today a little bit different. We don't have Carly and Caitlin. We've got Ginny, Nelson, and Claire. So hello.
Hello.
Hi.
I told them 2 minutes ago they're going to be here, so they've got nothing prepared. So they're either going to sit here and smile or they're going to say something. We don't know which. So
Gonna find out.
So what we find here is that the last week in July, the first week in August are generally the two quietest months of the year with people taking vacations. So does anybody notice that? So if you're trying to do something for this week and last week and try to get things going there, you might find that a lot of people aren't around. Is anybody? I'm seeing a couple of head nods here and there, so I don't know if is that true or not.
That's
or,
true. Yeah.
And that's generally what's happening. We got the stats out for July, which I'll talk about those. I have some comments on what I believe the market's going to be doing, and next we'll go from there. But first of all, I talk about, I guess, is open houses. I didn't get out myself much today or this weekend there to see how many signs were out there, but when I did go, I didn't see very many. What do you guys think? Did you guys see any open houses out there during the weekend there last weekend? Anybody do any open houses? I know we had about 3 or 4 of them. That was all, right? Anybody here do any open houses? No?
I did on Sunday.
Did on Sunday? Okay, where was the property?
It was on
Test.
Air.
Air? Okay,
Air
that's in Scarborough?
Pickering.
Pickering, okay. A-Y-R? Yeah. A-Y-R?
A-Y-R-E, yeah.
R-E, okay, yeah, good. And how did it go?
There was just one person that came through.
Oh, boy,
There was
okay.
also another property on the same building condominium that came.
It's a condo? Okay. Mm-hmm.
Condo townhouse.
Okay. All right.
So, and it was a nosy neighbor.
Mm-hmm. So the person that came through, what time did they come through?
She came in at about 3:30.
3:30, yeah. Is that typical? Is everybody typical? You have open houses between 2 and 4 and people show up between 3:30 and 4? Is that generally what happens? That's what I've seen in the past, right? So tell me you made a connection.
I did make a connection, but she also said, I'm not selling right now, I'm just looking. Oh,
I do that, every time I go to buy a shirt or shoes, the guy comes up to me and I say, I'm just looking. What are you here for?
Right, exactly.
So you got a contact name and everything, so?
I do have a name and an email as well as, she didn't want to leave a phone number, but I did check it out.
Oh, good for you. Okay, so nice. All right. Anybody from home then, you saw anybody?
No.
Is anybody even connected right now?
There's 20.
Okay, that's good.
I think Sunday was the better day. I think Saturday it didn't look very good, and then they had that weather advisory up in our area anyway. I'm not sure across there was some hail and there's some good sized hail up the street, and I think I don't know if that canceled them, but I saw a lot more open house signs in my area anyway in Whitby yesterday than Saturday.
Mm-hmm. Somebody told me that in Port Perry they had like baseball size hail or something.
Yeah. Uxbridge,
so,
Uxbridge.
Ajax also like
I didn't see anything in Pickering, so
No.
Ajax had hail as well, or yeah. So I don't know, it damaged the cars outside, parked outside, or what the hell.
We didn't get any in our place.
And anyway, so what's the general feel then? You guys feel the same thing? You think the market is backed off a little bit, or do you think that's we're getting ready for things? Don't know. A little bit, yeah, a little bit there. Hey, Nelson, what do you think?
I'm
Is
having
it,
conversations, like, strangely enough, I mean, the last week of July, first week of August is typically slow, but I've had a lot of conversations with the agents that things are happening last week, so I'm kind of pleasantly surprised about that, and maybe that's a sign of things to come, maybe in the next couple of weeks or, towards the end of the month, beginning of next. I think there's some preparation going on, so.
One thing I've noticed that some agents, some agents that are taking this time right now in the summer to get organized. So they're redoing their CRMs, they're redoing their marketing, they're looking at all their lists, they're making sure that they've got everything nailed down as far as their systems go. I'm seeing a lot of that stuff there in the corner offices in particular. So if you are going to take a vacation, I've said this before, if you're going to take vacation, that's great, no problem, have fun. But if you're not going to take vacation, then don't sit at home and do nothing, right? So start thinking about your business plan. We're just talking about a couple things here on the video here right now. We showed some Mike Ferry stuff and a couple other fellows there. There's all kinds of trainers out there. There's so many different ways to skin that cat, right? Does anybody here belong to the David Greenspan? Does anybody here in this done the David Greenspan presentation did in the last 2 months? No? Nobody here? Anyways. So some people are doing coaching with the Greenspan. You've got a whole bunch of guys. I believe that Craig Proctor is coming to town probably this week. He's got a session going up there in Richmond Hill. He talks about that all the time. That's Dave. That's Proctor. Craig Proctor. Anybody here familiar with Craig Proctor? No, it's just to, he talks about running ads that we call blind ads, and what does he do? Sorry,
800 number.
1-800 number for valuation of your homes, or he tracks numbers, and it's a system that costs a lot of money. What he's talking about when he does it, but still it works for those people that are doing it. Then you got the Mike Ferry guys out there. They're doing the phone calls and trying to be a listing agent. Then you've got your Brian Buffini guys out there. They're trying to do referral by referrals, like business by referral only, I guess they call it. Who else is out there? You got Rich Robbins out there, which is basically it's the same thing with Rich Robbins. He wants you to have relationships with clients, try to get referrals from clients. So it really doesn't matter which one you're using. They all work, but it depends on your personality, right? And what's your personality, and you make that plan, and away you go. So it's try to make it very mechanical. I'll tell you right now that the people that are doing well in this business today, in sort of a slower market, are the people that have connections. The people that have personal connections, people that know people that are involved with social clubs or business clubs or community events, or just know lots of people, going to lots of weddings, going to lots of parties, hand their business cards, make sure everybody knows that they're real estate agents. I find those types of agents today right now are doing okay in the summer. The other agents that are doing lead gen or social media, stuff like that, I think that the summer market has slowed down a little bit there, but there is business out there. Sales came in for July, and the numbers, they're okay. I mean, they're not huge in that. But I've got, let me make sure I got it right here. I might steal yours. Might steal yours. Oh, no, I don't have to. Here it is. Here. Okay. So we've got for July, there is 5,995 listings sold. So it's down about 0.9%, pretty much the same as last year. So 6,000 sales is okay. It's not huge. 6 times 12 is 72,000 sales. 72,000 sales for Treb is really not strong. The past years we've had, last year's, let's see. Last year was awful. 25 was 62,000, right? So we're actually ahead of it. But in 24 there was 70,000, and 23 69,000. So that 70,000 isn't really it's just sort of breaking even numbers, right? It's not huge. In contrast, there back in the 2020, 2021, they had over 100,000 sales, 101,000 sales in 2020, 127,000 sales in 2021. And back in those days, anybody who was in the business those days, it was crazy because people were putting in offers, and Nelson and I and Ginny here, we couldn't tell you what the prices were. It's like if there's 10 offers, I had $10,000 per offer extra.
That was the pattern.
He had a rule of thumb going on there, right?
That was the pattern.
And unfortunately, a lot of agents that joined the business in 2019, 2020, 2021, 22 saw that market and thought this business is easy. Right? And now we come to today's market and it's completely different, right? Back in those days, people were phoning you, they want to buy a house, they want to buy 2 houses. There's people that wanted to buy pre-construction. There's one in 4 condos or pre-construction. No, 1 in 4 condos are being sold to investors. Completely reversed now, right? And Caitlin has been telling everybody to watch out for your database, take care of your database, make sure you're contacting your database, and you still have to do that. You still make sure it's there. So spend this summertime trying to get organized with all those things, right? So sales themselves for July, again, almost 6,000 sales. Last year was almost 6,000, well, a little over 6,000. Total active listings are 26,000, actually down 12% compared to last year at 29,000. So we had a buyer's market. Would you guys agree there's a buyer's market we've been going on for the last 12 months or so? Everybody's talking about buyer's market, right? Prices going down, buyer's market. So it's starting to change. So if we had 29,000 active listings last year, we got 26,000 today. That's minus 12%. There's not as much inventory out there today as there was this time last year. So that tells me that it's starting to change a little bit here. Last year we had a 5 to 1 months of inventory. This year it's 4.0. So that's down quite a bit. So and once you start hitting 4.0, you're in the balancing market between the seller's market and the buyer's market. So it really depends on individual properties, of course, but we're starting to see some light, right? Average days on the market, 32 days. Back in 2022, was it one weekend? Average days on the market?
Yeah,
Even that.
sold overnight.
Right? So now it's like 32%. And we're also looking at about 97% of the asking price. So what is selling for 97% of the asking price. If you look at the stats from years past, that number would be, last year was 98. Years before it had been 99, maybe even 100, 101.
There were many months that it
Right.
broke 100.
101. So now it's going to 97. So again, that's telling me that the buyers are winning a little bit. The buyers are winning because the seller, they're getting 3% less than the average ask price. Year-to-date sales is pretty much equal to last year, and as I said, last year's sales were 62,000. So, whoopee. Right? But it is there, right? New listings is concerning, and it's concerning in a good way, I think. Last year we had 17,000 new listings. This year we had 14,000 new listings. So new listings are down almost 18%. So again, active listings are down, new listings are down. Average price is down, $1.3 million. $1.3 million was the average price. Well, I think we had, 900 something a couple months ago? January was 968. So we're back to almost back to January numbers, right? So in last month it was $1,058,000. Month before that $1,069,000, $1,051,000. So last April, May, June, which would have been our spring market, right? The prices were higher, and now we're in the summer market. Prices are lower. So again, it all makes sense. When is the next peak market?
Fall market.
Fall market, September, right? So this is, in my opinion, we're at the bottom. I believe we're at the bottom for pricing. I believe we're at the bottom for units. So in a couple of weeks, what was it next week? No, Friday, I guess, right? Friday, everybody has to pay their $500 RECO insurance.
Mm-hmm.
I have numbers here. I'll go back to it a little bit, but some people are thinking, well, maybe I don't want to go on real estate. Maybe real estate's not for me, and real estate's tough. A lot of people would say goodbye, right? Right? But I'm telling you that if you're on the fence thinking about it, I think the market is starting to shift. That's the impression I have. Good news in the States. Well, I don't know. States and Canada, their tariffs. I mean, they're starting to talk, anyways. And the war. I don't know what's happened with the war, but anyways, that's different. Prime lending rate is actually 4.45. This time last year was 4.95. So that's gone down. I'm just going to read the stuff here that we've got. Okay, so that's right. So we had the July with the GTA houses was, again, almost 6,000, down from July of last year. More importantly, sales were up 3.2% from June. So sales were actually higher in July than were June. That's good news as well. The 14,000 new listings is down 17%. That's the most important number for July. With fewer new listings and improved sales, market conditions are tightening. You follow that? So the sales themselves are about the same, up a little bit, no, down a little bit, I guess. But the inventory is down. So the inventory being down, that means that it's going to be a little more, palatable for the sellers. One thing that we're noticing here, I'm going to go off the top of my head here. We're noticing that the sellers, rather than reducing their price to sell, they're taking their properties off the market. You follow me there? Has anybody seen that? How many cancellations did we sign?
Oh.
And the reason I get is that the client wants to wait for the market to get better because they decided they're not going to reduce the price. And I've got two cases here that are quite curious. Remember the Charlotte property I was talking about, condo downtown, that the guy was in the Toronto Star talking about the condominium he's trying to sell. He was complaining about he's not getting his price, and the star talked about it how he didn't want to lose money. He wanted to have the property. He's trying to get more money than he paid for it. Didn't want to lose money. That would have been how long ago now? A couple of years.
So he bought it on the hot market.
Bought it in a hot market. Come on, here it is. Here it is. Here. Okay. So today it's finally been suspended or terminated. It finally expired. He just would not reduce his price. All right. I thought I printed it. I didn't. Anyways, he started. I thought I did too. It's probably my printer downstairs. Anyways, he started a couple of years ago. He paid about $600,000 for the place. He tried to get $600,000 for the place. No, he tried to get, I think, $700,000 for the place. Couldn't get it. Tried to get $800,000 for the place. Couldn't get it. Reduced the price to $500,000. Couldn't get it. Increased the price to $900,000. Couldn't get it. And finally, it expired. And that's over a period of about 2 or 3 years with the Toronto Star front page advertising. So he had all the marketing you could imagine. It still didn't sell because he just couldn't. I think he paid like $620 or something for it, so he just couldn't resist. He couldn't sell it for a loss. So now it's off the market.
The last one was 500.
500. Well, last was 999. So he just
He raised it.
he raised it by 400 grand, and then it expired again, anyways. And what he did, he listed it with a mirror posting company. So the mirror posting company got their $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, whatever they got to post it, and they didn't care whether it sold or not. Mr. Seller, whatever you want to do, we'll do it, right? So they really didn't give him any advice, or didn't sound like he was going to listen to it anyways. This other property here I thought was interesting. An agent brought this to my attention. One of our agents went to this property to try to list it. I guess it had expired. And the seller was quite nice, and the seller was quite open. And the only condition was that you can list the property, but you have to stage it. And I'm not going to pay for the staging. You have to pay for the staging.
The agent pays?
Yeah, the agent pays, right? So in this particular case, walked away from it and said, I'm not paying for it, right? The current guy, the two agents talked. The current guy did talk. The guy he did pay for his staging, right? But let me just it's still in the market, but let me just go back here for a second. He started trying to sell this place in 2023.
Wow. No wonder they didn't want to pay for staging.
I don't know if you can see this or not. This is all the council relists, right? So at each stage, I'm assuming the agents pay for staging, right? So this fellow's had a furniture-free house. No, what do you call it? He's had a furnished place now that he can use since 2023.
3 years.
Because the agents keep on relisting it and putting new furniture in. Thank you very much.
So what are the prices it's being listed from?
So originally in 23, he was asking $899, and then it went to $998, $969, $879, $929, $954, $910, $928, $927, $895, $879, $924, $799, $699, $789, $899,
What a drop.
and today it's $799. So the last price change was a $50,000 increase. So the moral of the story, I don't know what the moral of the story. I'm kind of making it fun, right? I'm just reading the facts here. But the facts, my lesson to you guys, we've mentioned this before. Be careful about motivation. Motivation is everything. If the client doesn't have motivation, if there's no motivation to sell, I mean, and I feel sorry for the agents that are paying for the staging because they're hoping it's going to sell, and maybe it will sell, but it hasn't, and I don't know. So I'm suggesting that when you're doing staging in a market where the motivation isn't as strong as you'd like it to be, then offer to pay back the seller if you're going to pay for staging. Ask them to pay for it first, and you reimburse them. Right? Or what some agents do, it's a little tougher. You pay for it first, and if they take it off the market, they reimburse you. But it's tough to get money from people, right? So because you didn't do a job. But anyways, just be careful out there. It was fun. Just going back to your $500, got your $500 RECO insurance due on Friday the 14th.
August 14th.
If you, if for some reason you don't pay it on that day, then you have up until the August the 31st to pay. You have to pay a $35 penalty for not paying it on the 14th. If you don't pay it by the
14.
31st.
by April 31st, then
August
you're going to be
31st,
terminated.
You're terminated, yeah.
And if you're terminated, you got to be terminated from truck too.
Right, and it's from Treb as well.
Yeah.
Now, is that a good thing or a bad thing, or that people get terminated? I don't know. I don't like it myself,
You
but
have to take the
but
course from the beginning.
yeah, I take the course all from the beginning here, right? Anyways, as of we started this year off in January. I will tell my story. Okay.
How long you can park the license?
There's no such thing as park. There's no such thing as parking. You're either licensed or you're not.
Yeah, that's right.
People use parking. What they mean by parking, you can park from Treb.
Yeah.
Can't park your license.
But you're not really
You can
trained.
park your membership from Toronto Real Estate Board, but you're still licensed, so there's no parking.
You
Right.
paid insurance, you paid that.
Well, no, you don't pay insurance. Okay, so all right, so
There is no emission.
so here's the agents' options. Let me just finish this here first. So we peaked. Agents finished at 75,000 agents in August of 23. It's probably more than that if I go back. And today we're at 67,000.
Wow.
We started we
78,000.
but we started this year at 65,000. So today we're at 67,000. I'm guessing after this month here, we'll probably go back down to about 65,000.
You think you'll lose that many? 2,000 people? Yeah,
2,000, I'm guessing.
it's a big number.
I'm guessing. So here are the options for those folks. You've got to pay your. This is just insurance. This is your errors and emissions insurance, and I've said this many times. That's the best $500 you could spend, right? Because you get we got stuff going on now with people that the world's changed. The world's really changed. So we're not just getting involved now with contracts and money and stuff. Now we're getting now we're getting situations with human, what do they call
Human rights.
Behavior, human
Ah.
rights.
it? Human rights and
Human resources issues.
not human resources, but
Human rights, employment. No,
yeah, just weird things. Just weird things. Anyway, so good. It's good thing to have that insurance. That's important. So you can renew your license. It's $500. You've already paid your Treb insurance for the end of the year, by the way, right? And this is for insurance. So you've paid everything up to the end of the year. So by not paying the $500, you've pretty much wasted the half year of Treb dues. All right. So that's one consideration. The thing came up with parking. There's companies out there that are not members of the Toronto Real Estate Board. So they will hold real estate licenses, but you can't have access to Treb. You can't make appointments. You can't trade in real estate. You can hold your license. They'll hold your license, but you can't trade. We have a similar company for those people that are at retirement age or thinking about retiring. Come and talk to Carly, myself, or Ginny here. We do have options for people that don't want to belong to the Toronto Real Estate Board, but want to keep their license. I don't know why. I'm not sure why you want to do both, but anyways, we do have options for those individuals that want to do that, so that it would take you off the Treb, but you can't trade in real estate, but you can still refer into the office, get yourself a referral fee or something like that. So there's things that we can do that people don't want to do it. I've talked to a lot of people, believe it or not, a lot of people that don't want to renew their license because the technology has gotten too much for them. DigiSign, right? Or Ventasign, or
Realm itself.
or the Teresa rules, or the FinTrack rules. So it just goes on and on and on and on. It's just so many things, right, going on. So those people don't want to do that. But we have options. Talk to us. But their first deadline is on Friday. Okay, so go through my notes here. Going back to the sales for July, the sales for detached homes dropped 2.8%. The sales for semis dropped 6.8%. The townhouses actually went up 8.7%, and condos went down 3.3%. So the biggest mover was the townhouse, semis, and the condos held their own. So that's interesting. So you got to keep your eye on that. I'm talking about the 416 condominiums. So if I go to 905 condominiums, they're actually down 6.6%. So the 905 area is completely different than the 416 area. What's the average price for a 416 condo downtown resale? What would you guess? Up and down Yonge Street. I'm guessing. I want to say $900,000 resale.
Studio, 1 bedroom, 2
Just off the top of your head. Just guess.
So
850?
850 up to 11.
850 to 1100. How about 905?
From
650.
650, 700. Okay, so when they're talking about condominiums and stuff like that, be careful if you're dealing with a 905 condo or a 416 condo. Different marketplaces, completely different, right? And a lot of people did the 905 because they were cheaper at the first place, right? So it gets a little hard for them. Average prices in the 416, detached dropped 1.5%, semis dropped 9.9%. Townhouses dropped 6%, condos only dropped 1.6%, the average price. 905 area though, average prices dropped 6.7 for detached, 4.6 for semis, 3.5 for towns, and 5.0 for condo apartments. So again, 905 is very, very, very difficult. Anybody got condos right now that for sale, not moving? No? You got rid of your Upper Duke, right? Upper Duke's gone, so hooray. If I look at the numbers today, the first nine days in August, they're kind of scary. So maybe I should. We had a long weekend, right?
We did.
Yeah.
So the long weekend screwed us up. I think we'll probably make up for it the next half of August. But right now we've got 26,000 active listings. We started the month off with how many? 26. About the same. It's actually up about 500. Vacancies about 32% for all properties, 41% for condos are vacant, 26 for freeholds are vacant. Sales are down about 20% from the first 9 days in August last year. So that's but again, I think it's just because it's a slow start and we had the long weekend starting off there. It works out to 123 sales per day. If I projected that the 123 deals per day, if I projected that for 31 days, it comes into 3,800 sales. If we had 3,800 sales for August, that'd be the least amount of sales we had in 100 years.
Yeah.
So it's not going to happen. So the numbers are not accurate at this point. And we're also down 32% from July. So again, it's too early to tell those numbers. Leases are 15,000 active leases. We're selling about, split about 50-50, both condos and freeholds. Vacancies about 48%. Condominiums actually come back a little bit. Only 40% of rental condos are vacant, and 53% of houses are vacant for rentals. Leases made. That's what I want to talk about. Talk about errors and emission insurance, how things have changed. I talked about the how human rights. We've also got now tenants. Tenants are suing us for taking their job letters and their reference letters and giving them to the landlord. They're saying that it's privacy. It's only up to us to have that information. So I say it's a crazy world out there. We're working on behalf of the landlord. We're not the landlord. So we pass that on. So, but anyways, we got something going on with that. Leases are down 15% from last year, and they're down 17% from the first 9 days in July. I think that's going to change. Does anybody notice any difference in the leases? Are they starting to come around a little bit? Anybody here? No. Still tough.
I think the landlords are getting a deal with the leases when they hire agents, only charging 1 month. That just boggles the mind with everything that's going on and all the extra work and doing the residential tenancy agreement in addition to putting it out there, marketing it, negotiating it, and they also get they're looking at us for guidance to screen these people, which is I don't know. We just that world has to change. I mean, this whole lease world has changed. When we used to do very many, not only us, just the whole market in general. used to do a small amount of leases, and now the leases are higher than the sales. And I think compensation-wise, that has to be looked at, and it's got to be started, right? And I mean, you look at that. Did you see that open room rent thing yesterday that came out about the $200 million?
No.
Oh, okay. So, and you got to, when you're trying to justify your fee, you know, you've got to reference things. And if you don't belong to a site or a newsletter for open room, if you're doing a lot of leases, you should. Yesterday there was an email that sent out in the first 2 months, of the first 5 months of this year, landlords have missed out on $200 million of rent. First 5 months. In Ontario. Do you think $200 million is, no, that's in Ontario. It's crazy. And then they even break down that 49% of that money is like non-paid rents things, right? So it's just crazy.
These are tenants that are absconding from
Yeah,
rents?
from paying rent. Yeah, from paying rent. So $200 million in non-paid rent that, you know, landlords are trying to get after in, you know, in the tribunal and stuff. So these are conversations that you need to have with your clients when you're taking lease listings and try to justify, you know, your value, your worth.
I think they should pay 1% of the house price, just like a city.
Okay,
If you don't renting it for a year, they charge 3%.
that'd be nice if you could, but I think we have to. Our thought process has to change. When you're representing landlords, our thought process has to change in regards to, and like Claire said, you know, now we're answering to tenants as well, and it's not only us that are answering, even the agent that represented the landlord is answering. So. I think compensation-wise, we have to start putting a little bit more value on now.
Yeah, we just finished another lawsuit for a tenant. And the tenant paid rent for 2 years and then didn't pay rent, and then they trashed the place in between. They had like $50,000 worth of damages, and the seller blamed us for putting the tenant there. So this is what I'm talking about. So where you get sued. That's why Air Business Insurance is your friend.
It is.
All right, it's interesting. Open Room also. Just talked about open room, yeah.
Yep.
They're going to take all the LTB court cases that were decided, and they're going to populate their database with everybody.
Wow.
So right now they're depending on the landlord to self-file a complaint, self-file, hey, this tenant did this, and here's a copy of my LTB, blah blah blah. Now LTB is going to have access to open room for all the data. They don't have to wait for a landlord to complain. So that's going to clean up a lot of that. That's maybe what that article talked about too. That talked about the CanLease stuff and that. Mm-hmm. And there's also the other one for verified. Trev's got the one verified. I think CanLease is about what, $40, and verified's $20, something like that. Red Magazine, this fellow here saying that Toronto sellers are cutting supply before prices find a floor. This is what I just talked about before, where it seems like the sellers themselves are taking the properties off the market because they don't want to reduce their price. Now sometimes they can't reduce their price, right? But anyways. You might come across hopefully you're going to come across a seller that's over leveraged. Meaning he's got more mortgage on a house. He paid too much for the place. So a lot of agents are walking away from that, which is not a bad idea, but you have to again look for motivation. And just because somebody has a house over leveraged doesn't mean they haven't got a bank account full of other money to make things right. You follow what I'm saying? I mean, just because the house loses money doesn't mean that the guy's bankrupt. He's got other money kicking around there too. So it wasn't you that put him in the situation. They got themselves in the situation through whatever. But anyways, but if you do have somebody that's like that, then there's two ways of doing it. You can have the lawyers do it, which tends to be what everybody seems to be doing right now, having the lawyers deal with it, or you yourself can phone the lenders and figure out what's going on. You can also do what's called a parcel registry. You can pay the $35 and go to Geo Warehouse for a parcel registry, and you can find out exactly what the original mortgages were. First mortgage, second mortgage, or any liens on that. So you know right away what's going on. And all you're going to do, I guess, if you take the listing, if the guy has to sell, or he's stuck, take the listing, conditional upon seller's lawyer's approval. And then take it to the lawyer's approval and see if they can negotiate something. So don't necessarily walk away from it, but you can help them, but don't go blind, and don't make sure you do a mortgage verification and find out exactly what what's there, because the parcel registry will only tell you what the original mortgage was. Won't tell you what the balance was, and it won't tell you if there's any shortfalls, if he hasn't made any payments. And chances are, if they haven't made any payments, chances are they haven't made any payments for their taxes either. So there's another road down the road. So if you're going to take those listings, there's a lot of things you can do. You still take them, but you got to figure out what the plan's going to be. Okay, makes sense, right?
I didn't know on the parcel registry that it actually tells you if it's tenants in common or joint tenancy.
I didn't know. Oh, on the parcel registry,
Yeah,
it does.
I didn't know
yes.
that.
Yeah.
So in case you're ever out there and you're not sure about whether it's joint tenants or tenants in common, and you want to find out about a mortgage balance outstanding, you're going to get a couple of bangs for your buck in the parcel registry, because it'll tell you what the original mortgage was and what the tenancy is, whether joint or tenants in common. I found that out last week.
There you go.
Keep on learning.
Doesn't matter how long you've been in business.
Doesn't matter.
So condominiums, we talked about condominiums, and the newspapers are saying how all the small condominiums, these little, what do they call them, dog crate condominiums, or what are they 500 square foot, 450 square foot. And they're saying all the investors bought these places and lost money, and that's the condo market segment that's losing the most. Now we're starting to see the big stuff come down. This guy here, a luxury Yorkville condo, 1,000 square foot condo. Guy just sold it and he lost $450,000. This goes back to what I just said before. Just because they're losing money doesn't mean they don't have other money. Okay, so because they have other money. So this guy sold it for the $450,000 loss. He couldn't have sold it unless he has another way of paying off that $450,000. What they're suggesting here is that these condominiums, luxury condominiums, are used for high-end people. This is 200 Cumberland Street. And they're using it as a, I can't pronounce that word. Pied-à-terre, right? Pied-à-terre, which is a small little unit that somebody would own downtown. So their main house would be up in, let's say, King City, and their work is downtown. So they have this little place so that they can go to work and maybe spend the Monday to Friday or Monday to Thursday. It's a little place that they use
like that.
in between, right? But now they're saying that with everybody going back to work, they don't need those anymore because now they're working every day. So they don't have to have that thing sitting there for 3, 4, 5 days. So now they're getting rid of them, and that's why they're losing $450,000. Ouch. Hurts, huh? These guys here did a study, and they find out what's the 5 hottest real estate markets in GTA. And they are Uxbridge. Who works Uxbridge? Anybody?
Beautiful small town.
Aurora. Aurora's a hot spot. King City, as I mentioned, is a hot spot. Oakville's a hot spot. Whippy's a hot spot. What do those 4 places have in common?
Small suburbs.
I want to think it's higher end people. I want to think it's higher
income?
Like the people that live there are higher. Isn't Uxbridge, Aurora, King? Isn't King City the average income per household's higher?
Yes.
I would think King City. Isn't Oakville one of the richest cities in the city? Isn't Aurora one of the doing very, very well?
Oh, yeah,
And Uxbridge likely too. So it looks like all the healthy areas are still doing strong, right? Whitby's
No,
better.
Whitby.
Whitby's better than the other ones. Whitby's better than Oshawa.
Speaking of Oshawa, hold on. Speaking of Oshawa, one of our agents asked me to pose the question. She has a listing coming up in Oshawa. I'm not sure exactly what community, and she's wondering if she should go with the low price strategy and hold off offers, or whether she should just list it at what she thinks it's worth and see what happens. So she's just looking for a sort of guidance on that. Do you think low price in Oshawa would still be better? One of our folks here said that. Okay. John?
Condition of the property.
Condition regardless, right? I mean, you can price it. You can price it. If the condition is bad, you can price it at what you think it's worth, or you can still go lower than that for multiple offers. So she was trying to decide that, but I went ahead and pulled some numbers anyway, just for Oshawa since July 1st, whether that strategy was working, and there have been 176 freehold sales in Oshawa. since July 1st, and out of those, 47 sold for over asking. So looks like that strategy out there is working 25% of the time. And the most successful areas in terms of that happening were Donovan, Lakeview, Eastdale, McLaughlin. Yeah, they were all pretty much in and around the same. And then the lower area, the areas that it wasn't working so much in was North Glen, Vanier, Centennial, Samak. So if our agent there is listing one of those communities, she can decide which way to go.
What's the price range? Sorry.
What's her price range?
Oh, she didn't tell me the price range. She just
So
said,
like less than 700, more than 700?
yeah, I'm not sure. She just said, what's the strategy in terms of, but you know what? Price range wise, even when I was doing my research, it wasn't only like stuff like for 400 or 500. There was stuff that was listed for 9 that sold for over $1 million as well. So it varied. It wasn't like just one. I couldn't say that, oh, it was only the stuff under in and around 500. No, there was a great, variety in terms of pricing that strategy working through, right from
Only
390.
25% is selling over
Well,
asking.
25% of the strategy is 25% of the sales were
Sold over
selling
asking.
based on that strategy. But the
That's
price
quite a bit
points
because the Toronto Real Estate Board, it's only how many? 20%. Yeah. So
this was July, since July though, right? Well, okay, yeah, right.
So 20% of the properties sell for over asking. And here's
25% here.
25%. So.
Yeah. So might be something to consider.
But again, it depends on the area, right? There's North Oshawa, South Oshawa.
Well, I mean, yeah, even South Oshawa, yeah. Donovan, Lakeview is south.
Yeah.
Lakeview is south, and that worked quite a few times. And Donovan, that's kind of central. O'Neill, that's kind of central as well. Eastdale, McLaughlin. So yeah, those areas.
Those areas are less than 800 on average prices,
There was yeah.
depending on the size of the house.
47 for $1 million.
Wow.
So, yeah. So hope that answered your question.
Interesting. So what's the answer?
The answer is depending on her community. I'm not sure the community. I'm not sure the community, but I would certainly look into
You take care of it.
I would look into the
It's
community,
August.
and she can text me after and tell me what community it is, and I'll tell you which strategy to go with.
So not a full information disclosed to you.
No, it's just basic, general.
So is it something like a based on community? Because like now in this market, all those buyer knows that the price, like they're there to bargain. So is a good strategy for like in this kind of market?
It can be. I think what you're looking for in terms of you're looking at the specific community is whether there's an appetite there for the agents that are working there and the buyers that are buying there to play that game, right? And I know like North Glen, in the community of North Glen, it only happened once since July. And I know North Glen is actually a really nice older area of Oshawa. So maybe that's a game that doesn't work out so well out there, right? But then in some other pockets, like I said, Lakeview and Donovan and O'Neill, it worked out quite a few times, right? So it depends on, whether there's the appetite. Some areas will play that and some others won't.
Just for those at home that like Nelson does this most every day, like with trying to evaluate properties and trying to see what trends are and blah, 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 right? But you guys have access to the same information he does. On your market watch there, pages 25, 27, it talks about the house price index. And it goes right there, and I can okay, we'll talk to Oshawa, right? Oshawa, the prices since last year, overall, properties of all type dropped 6.47%. If we look at the detached homes, they're 6.4. If we look at the single family attached, that'd be semis, it's 3.29. Remember I said that minus 7.8 for semis. Townhouses minus 5.74 and apartments minus 8.64. So every type of home is different. Every area is different. But this is full detail. If you're trying to do stats and you got somebody that's really high in left brain and wants to be technical and engineer type, you can look at the stats there. But what do you think of price? I haven't got Toronto prices here, but what do you think of? What's this Toronto? We just talked about condo prices, right? Per square foot. What do you think a detached house per square foot will go for in Scarborough? let's say 1,000 square foot Scarborough bungalow. What are they selling for?
900, 950.
So they're going for $900 a square foot. All right. And how? And just up and down Bremerton, let's say, right? Now, how about in Markham? How about no, let's stick to Toronto. What about a 2,100 square foot house in Warden and Bridlewood or someplace?
1.2.
And how many? So $500 a square foot?
I agree with James on that price.
Eh?
I agree with him 1.2 for that size.
So larger house is $500 a square foot, and the smaller house is $1,000 a square foot. See what the difference is?
But that's always been that way. When you go to a builder, you always pay more per square foot in a smaller property.
And
right?
why would that be? Because they're both sitting on the same parcel of land, right?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
lot size
true.
is
So
same.
the land itself, right? So here's some prices here just to put in perspective what's going on around the world, or Canada anyways. This is a Century 21 survey that they did. Regina condos, Regina, Saskatchewan condominiums, $225 a square foot. You can't even, I don't know.
Is it downtown?
Does Regina have a downtown? I guess they do, yeah. I'm just kidding for those people. I'm kidding those people at home.
Saskatchewan.
Downtown's actually a nice little town. St. John, this would be New Brunswick, would be $229 for a detached home.
229.
$229 for detached home. A lot of people are going to New Brunswick. I know lots of people have gone to New Brunswick trying to invest. Fredericton, New Brunswick as well, $230 for detached home. Moncton, $236 detached home. Edmonton, these are all the cheapest. Edmonton, $237 for a condo. Charlottetown, $250. So they're all around $250. It doesn't really matter, condo or detached home. These are all going around $250s or so. So that's so. Charlottetown is $256 for detached. Charlottetown, PEI. Right.
Someone yesterday who told me they're moving to Calgary.
The prairies, which would be Saskatchewan, Winnipeg, Regina, Brandon, Winnipeg, detached homes, are all going for about Saskatoon's $397, Winnipeg $342, Regina $337 for a detached home. Brandon, Manitoba $327, Winnipeg $293. And then we get into the higher end. Just give you some perspective what's going on out there. Vancouver West Side detached home, $1,000 square foot.
Like a house?
House, 1,072. Vancouver condo, 1,026. So condo, Vancouver
Par level.
condo versus detached homes per square foot, very similar. They've always said Vancouver's always been higher prices, right? So 2,000 square foot house here, you said what, 1.2? Two, you said in Scarborough, and in Vancouver it's $2 million.
Wow. Depending on the
House on his pocket.
Yeah.
But then what's a
Victoria.
2,000 square foot home in downtown Toronto? Like
Okay, so let's pick
we're
downtown.
talking Scarborough.
Okay, so let's go right down to Ossington or something. You're getting a $1.4 million house and what was it, 900 square foot semi?
You're getting 1.4,
Maybe town.
19 frontage,
19-foot frontage.
1.4. You know, it's you're paying
Or 15th century house.
yeah.
All right.
So townhouse,
So
1.4.
somebody do the math. Okay, so a row house in Toronto, a 19-foot lot,
Yeah.
it's going to go for 1.4. I'm
Yeah.
assuming 1.4 divided by what? Not probably 900 square foot, even 1,000 square foot. So it's $1,400 a square foot. It's kind of a good number to have there. So if somebody says, "What's this house worth?" there, I don't know how many square feet it is. Then in your mind, you say, "Well,
Yeah.
1,400," right? So you sort of get an idea. Anyways, I thought it was interesting. Slow housing market largely ends needs for buyers to write personal notes. Anybody done a personal note for a client in a long time? A buyer? Multiple offers. Don't you remember multiple offers? And then the buyer would write a little note saying that I love your house and you've made it a home for a family, and I can see my family living in the same home, and little gushy letter, right? A lot of people laugh and say that it doesn't work anything, but it does work. If it's multiple offers and everything's being the same. But sometimes it's not the same, but the seller likes your client. So maybe the agent will give you a heads up saying, look, you know what, if you squeeze a couple more dollars out of this, it might go your favor. That's what they're telling you, right? So that's another tool that you can have out there anyways to talk about your clients, right?
I use that for leasing. For leasing is hotspot.
For leasing, a little personal note from the tenant.
We can allow the application.
I
Yeah.
did it once with townhouse. So we got the notes. So we get all said. Was very happy. Actually, they told me how much to sell out. You don't tell, right? So she said, okay, just add 5,000 for that.
So they took advantage. They liked the letter and they took advantage, right?
Right.
Yeah. Good. So there are little things like that. What else can you do? I got a letter in my door. Going back to Floyd Wickman stuff. Dear homeowner, I currently assist a client interested in relocating to your neighborhood with a particular focus on being in the St. Andrews area. Unfortunately, okay, this was sent to my office. Okay, I don't live in St. Andrews, but anyways, St. Andrews, close to York Mills Road, seeking a property that mirrors the value of your home. Extensive network, qualifying buyers, blah, blah, blah. Been in relationships for 20 years. Number one agent for this company. I'd like to privilege discuss. So basically, it's a letter saying, it's a farming letter. Rather than saying, hey, I just listed, or I just sold, or I did this, or I did that, what he's saying here is, I've got a buyer for your property. You're thinking about maybe listing your property, and he's going to create a relationship. So it's a letter he's written saying, I have a buyer for your property. Please give me a call if you're thinking about selling. Does he have for that buyer for that property? Likely does. Is that buyer going to buy that particular property? Likely not, because it's on a corner, or it's south facing, or something might be. But the point is, he's creating a opportunity. Make sense? Makes sense to me. A couple months ago, I talked about a company that does referral things called, what was it called? Pronto Agent. And it doesn't cost you anything. You go to Pronto Agent, you say, hey, I'm an agent from Toronto. This is where they specialize in. I've been in the business this long, and blah, blah, blah. And they put your profile in their database. And if some client happens to be going to Pronto and sees your profile, it gives you a referral fee. You give this company a referral fee for the referral fee, and away you go. Cost you nothing. So somebody write that down and go to it. This one here, we haven't got this yet, but there's something out there called Rank My Agents. I don't like it.
Rent my
Rank.
I think they have something like similar for
Rank My
teachers.
Agents, and it's a big thing out in Saskatchewan and out west where they all do it. It's all, Rate My Agents, and you go to this website and say, who's the best agent on Kennedy Road, and it'll tell you according to whatever they do. So, and if they're not doing any research, all they're doing is repeating whatever's on their database. So, something to think about.
It's kind of like the Google reviews.
It's like a Google review type thing, right? Yeah. Just some fun facts here. I know CTV published this as for TD made it. So CTV talked about it, and it was TD Economics released this thing last Monday. Half the GTA renters are spending 50% of their paychecks to rent.
50%? Red flag.
Right. So that would be a lot of purpose-built rentals. If you thought of people that are new people, young people, so on and so forth. As a result, let's see. Steady growth in resale values. More Torontonians own houses. Approximately 20 years ago, the number of renters and owners in GTA were split 50-50. And now the ownership has tilted to about 7 in 10 choosing to own. So a couple of weeks ago, I talked about how people might think about renting rather than owning. And they're saying here that, no, 7 out of 10 people are owning rather than renting.
That's good.
So what I said was something different. What the facts are is something different, right? In the 1990s, approximately 25,000 new homes were created each year. Since the 2000, the average has been closer to 36,000. This must be GTA. It's GTA. I don't know if I believe that or not. TZ also said the number of single women owning homes has increased by 3%. Okay. In the late 1990s, 40% of new homes were built were condos, and by 2014, it was 80% of new homes were built were condos. What do you think it is today? 40%. So it went from 80% to 40% of new homes are condos. Of course, they're not building condos at all, right? I actually drove by, where was I? I want to say Whitby. I saw some Treasure Hill homes actually building homes. I actually saw construction workers actually building homes. So I wonder if that new HST thing's picked up. I think it has.
I think it has.
Right? So they actually workers. I saw them actually with 2x4s and building walls and stuff like that. You go on White's Road in Pickering, there's nothing going on. So that was good news. And Carney's promising $2.7 billion to build thousands of new rental homes. Is that good or bad? I guess it's good, right?
Rental homes instead of rental apartments.
Rental, same
Are
thing.
they already? Because a lot of the condos have been taken over.
A lot of condos have switched over, but here they're talking about building 18 projects in the next 3 years as a city, as part of the city. So the government's throwing all kinds of money out there. They got this $2.7 billion to build rental units. They're giving the HST rebate, and they're giving the reduction in development charges. So they're doing their best.
So who will own those condos? People or the developers?
I think they're going to lend the money to developers, and developers are going to own it. I think it's $2.7 billion in preferred lending.
Yeah, that means only developers will have money.
Right? That's why it's branching, I guess.
They will just pay the rent,
Whoever can become a
no
builder.
equity, nothing.
I'm not sure if those purpose-built rentals are any cheaper than private
Purpose-built
landlords.
rentals well, I think it's only 10 or 15% of them are for affordable. The rest of them are premium.
That's right.
All these new condos are premium. They're not going to put low rentals in brand new
I think
condos.
it's where it's misleading is that, they're talking about these purpose-built rentals, but it's not for affordability. It's just for a lack of maybe occupancy. So unless it's like subsidized, these purpose-built are I believe,
Purpose-built are
are
definitely for
charging
higher.
more money than the ma and pa landlords that have properties out there. Now, with those purpose-built buildings, you're there for life if you want to. When you go to a ma and pa landlord, then of course maybe they decide to sell it. Now you have to, uproot and find another place. But in terms of affordability, those purpose-built rentals, I don't believe are.
This is new building, brand new building. So now you have to pay more.
But still, there's a lot of brand new condos there as well.
Canada has the first-time homebuyer savings plan, the FHSA. Is everybody familiar with that? That's when they can contribute up to $8,000 per year. I think right now the maximum, whatever the maximum is, it's been in there for a bunch of years right now. But what they're complaining about right now is that it's supposed to be for first-time buyers, that people that can't afford the money. And what they're finding is that people that have money are the ones that are taking advantage of it. And it kind of makes sense because you haven't got any money, you're not going to be able to contribute, right? But if you do have money, you're going to be able to contribute.
But they get the tax credit.
That's right. And to me, this is the best one. If you're going to, and I'm talking about this stuff here so you can put it in your newsletters, you can put it in your reels, put it into your social media, talk about these things, right? Repeat it. But the way it works right now, the first-time homebuyer savings plan, what do they call it? FHSA, what do the numbers stand for? First Home Savings Accounts. You can take that money, you can put up to $8,000 per year into that, and you can write that off like an RSP. So if somebody's making $100,000, then they put $8,000 towards this, they get taxed on $92,000 rather than $100,000. So they're saving taxes. You can invest it into mutual funds or stock market where you want to invest it, and whatever increase is in the investment is tax free, same as an RSP. And when you take the money out, it's tax free again, same as an RSP. So it's to me it's tremendous. So, but you have to be a first-time home buyer. I was thinking maybe you don't have to be a first-time home buyer. Just buy it, because after 15 years, you can roll it into your RSP if you don't actually buy a property. So my thought was, well, let's say I'm not a first-time buyer, but I set up this plan, and after 15 years, I cash it out. That way, I subsidize my RSP. You follow me there?
I do.
But anyways, you can't.
I don't know.
You can't do it.
I was going to say this is being recorded.
You have to be a first-time. You have to be a
I'm showing you
first-time home
taxes,
buyer
it
to. I'm sure somebody thought about it, right? But you have to be a first-time home buyer to even open the account. So that's how it works. But people are earning over $150,000 represent 3.5% of the people that are contributed, and people that are making $30,000, $40,000, or $30,000 represent 1.2%. So the purpose of the article is that people making money, the ones that are investing, the people that aren't making money that need it aren't.
Yeah.
But it kind of is obvious, isn't it? It could be if you don't make any money, you're not going to contribute. They're just trying to spin it.
Cost of living.
Another thing you might want to talk to your clients about. We had a lot of fires recently, and maybe your clients have a cottage. Is the cottage properly insured? Conversation you want to have with your clients again. If you know clients that have cottages, or put it in your social media saying, "Hey, you've got a cottage," double check with the insurance. Sometimes the insurance won't cover seasonal cottages. Right? Maybe they won't cover, or they have to have a particular rider that's going to cover the bunkie, or it's going to cover the docks, or it's going to cover some extra outbuildings. So you got to have special things in insurance. You just can't have insurance and expect it's going to cover for fire. And maybe a fire, it's a fire natural disaster. Maybe it doesn't cover natural disasters. Okay, so you got to be just something to talk to your clients about, to talk to their insurance people about.
The annual that they pay to the company,
Yeah, but seasonal cottages, it's only
certain months.
you can't get it in the winter.
Yeah.
So if the place burns down in the winter, is it insured? That's the gist of it. So you got to make sure that you're doing those types of things. Townhouses. They're saying if you look at any of the new homes in 905 area, chances are 50% or more of what they're being built is a townhouse. Anybody notice that?
Yeah.
But in Toronto, no, because nobody wants townhouses in Toronto. But townhouses is what buyers want. It's in between the condo, in between the semi, it's in between, right? So they do want that. So as an agent, it's a long time, but it's something to think about. Maybe find some part of the city. Maybe find some old houses, maybe the old wartime houses, or the old houses that have been kicking around. Maybe there's 3 or 4 in a row. Maybe you knock on 3 or 4 doors in a row and say, "Hey, you thinking about maybe selling with your neighbors? Maybe we can do a bit of a consolidation here. Maybe we'll do some land assembly here. Maybe the 4 of us get together and we can create this townhouse complex." Just a thought. Right? Like if you let's say Oshawa, for instance, you get those cheap Oshawa stuff. You get something like olive, for instance.
Yeah.
If you were to buy an olive, tear the whole strip, tear them all down, and start all over again.
A couple of guys have gone in there and done that.
All right. So there's another opportunity if you want to think about it there, how you can generate business. There's something that they're doing. RECO penalties. Actually, not just some people are going to get this. This is from Treb. I haven't got one myself, but I think it's a certificate from Treb. I think you have one down there. It's a 35-year achievement range with Treb. That was 15 years ago for you, right? Anyway, you should be getting stuff like there from Treb if you've been there for a long time. I go to RECO just for fun. This will be the last little thing there. Just remember, I go to RECO and see what the penalties are, what people are doing. And I still think majority of them are people that don't show up for appointments. People that send their clients in the home inspector without them being there. Right? These are all fines. And this person here got a fine of $35,000 and suspended license for a period of time by misleading a rental transaction by providing falsified and misleading rental application documents and false information in support of a prospective tenant. $35,000.
The
Agent got fined. So, if anybody gives you fake information on a tenant, just remind the agent that there's some responsibilities here. So, I suspect that $35,000 fine suspension. I suspect that this is a commercial deal. They wouldn't give me any details, and I think it was a commercial deal they probably did to try to get financing. I know a broker years ago that got Peter broke. I don't know if you remembers. He lost his license completely. He was selling a plaza. Plaza maybe had like, I don't know, I'm guessing right now, let's say it had like 15 units on there, and they were trying to get financing for the purchase, so the guy made 15 leases and presented to the lender as if they were active leases. Fake leases to get financing. He got caught and he lost his license as well. So I think this, for $35,000, I think it was probably a commercial deal. Okay, folks, so we'll see you next week then. Do you want to add anything?
Nope. That was fun.
I was gonna have Ginny talk about orientation app. We'll do that next week. We're gonna do this again next week.
We run out of time.
Okay, guys. So, and Caitlin's got a plan for September. She's got her training program figured out. It's going to be an accountability program there. I think everybody should sign up for that. It's going to be get you ready for September. So we'll
Get
talk
you
about more than
back
that
to
when it
s-
comes.
Yeah, back to work, back to school mindset.
Ciao.
Okay, folks. See you later. Bye now.